My band that I picked from London is an album that I just got recently.
Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome to a Thursday Collection Connection, where we're playing the game. It's just an excuse to talk about records. I play the game with my brother, Plastic Eric, from the Plastic Soundwave Cults channel, and you can play along, follow along, by subscribing to both channels. Fun fact, this is my 100th video on the channel. I have more than twice as many videos as subscribers, so you can each adopt a couple of episodes and still have a few left over for the table. So trying to put a positive spin on something fairly pitiful, but there you go. Not sure how much it's showing up on camera. I got this thing on my lip. My lip split, but it looks like I have herpes. So that's fun. In Eric's last video, he talked about Eurythmics, Be Yourself Tonight. I have a couple of Eurythmics albums, Touch and We Two Are One, plus a best of singles collection that I'm sure has been updated since the one I bought. Solid band, solid catalog. A lot of people might not realize that Sweet Dreams Made of This, not their first album, was their second album. And so even though it seemed like they gate crashed the scene with the title track from that album, there was an earlier one called Into the Garden, I believe, something like that. You know the Eurythmics, most likely. Annie Lennox, Dave Stewart, duo, electronic, kind of that moved on to more of a rock sound. A lot of great singles, classic singles, a classic 80s band. My initial thought for a connection was that Eurythmics, apparently a band that, like their parentheses, there are no fewer than 3 songs on the album that have parentheses in the titles. They had several more in their catalog. That was one of the things that I committed to memory just now, so I don't remember the names of the songs. But it's something, I know one was like, it's better to have loved than to never have loved at all, that part in parentheses. Oh, did I give away my album? Did I just split my lip again by doing that, pulling that face? Fuck. But yeah, There Must Be an Angel, Playing With My Heart. Is that one of the ones on there? My Baby's Gonna Cry, I believe has parentheses in it. I don't think it's from that album. Anyway, short of it, they love parentheses. And I tried to find another album in my collection that had 3 songs with parenthetical titles that weren't like live or remix, remaster, radio edit, 7-inch version, 12-inch version, anything like that, but actual part of a phrase. And funnily, the first one I found was the very first, the album that opened up the collection connection game, the daisy chain that we've got going here. And that was Joe Jackson's Jumpin' Jive. That was our very first. That was the first album that I played. And that has 3 different songs that have parentheses in the title. And the only other one that I found in my collection was Maria McKee. Her self-titled. Again, I'm talking and I didn't look up this stuff. This is from a few days ago, but I think it's just the album Maria McKee. But I didn't really feel like talking about Maria McKee. A little too close in time to the Eurythmics, still in the 80s. And so what I decided to do for a different tack completely is that you may or may not know that Dave Stewart of Eurythmics, his second wife, was Siobhan Fahey from Bananarama. They were married for a chunk of the 80s and 90s. They had 2 sons, and one of the sons was named Sam, and Sam Stewart grew up and joined a band. And that band was started by Matthew Lowell and Chrysanta Baker in Los Angeles, and he was sort of the third recruit, and they were a 3-piece for their debut album in 2018, and the band and the album are both Low Moon. Low Moon has put out 2 albums. Their second one's called A Modern Life, and their touring drummer has officially joined the band, so they are now a 4-piece. But interestingly, the Low Moon rollout was very, very slow and deliberate. Their first single, called Loveless, nothing to do with My Bloody Valentine, that single was released in the fall of 2016. And it was followed over the course of 2017 by a couple more single releases, and the full album did not come out until February, I think, of 2018. So the first single came out a full year and a half before the album, which is crazy. But Loveless is definitely the jewel, I believe. And their sound, I've seen it likened to a lot of things, but what it strikes me as is if Talk Talk had put out an album between It's My Life and The Color of Spring, between their second and third albums. So if they had done a partial step between being full synth and going to more of a full organic band sound, I think it would sound a lot like Low Moon. I like their first album better than their second. The second's kind of grown on me, but it didn't have the same impact. But a lot of the songs, especially This Is It, which opens the album, is very Talk Talk. And the singer, Matthew Lowell, who is the primary founder of the band and primary songwriter in the band, his delivery, his vocals are, to me, very Mark Hollis. So I'm mentioning Mark Hollis, I think, for the second straight week. But not unlike the Groove Armada from last week, this has a lot of atmosphere. It doesn't change gears nearly so often. It doesn't really change gears at all the way the Groove Armada did. It maintains, for the most part, the one mood, but there are dynamic shifts. And that is made most clear in Loveless, where they crash into the chorus. This would be a good song for Eric to air drum to. I know there's lots of air guitarists out there in the world, but Eric played drums once upon a time, and he tends to air drum more than air guitar. So this is a good air drum song, Loveless. But yeah, it's more like dynamic waves going up and down than it is really kind of genre shifts or anything like that. But Tried to Make You My Own is another favorite from here. 10 tracks with varying degrees of a hook that helps a song stick in your mind, but it rides its atmosphere kind of through the entirety of its 10 songs. So just to reiterate the connection, Sam Stewart is the son of Dave Stewart of Eurythmics, and Sam Stewart is in the band Low Moon. This was their debut album from 2018. Less sure Eric will enjoy it than last week's Groove Armada, which I had a good feeling about and did pay off. He did like that a lot, to the point where he curses my name because it's another album that he's now on the lookout for buying himself. But that's all cool. They're not all going to be super hits, and probably best for his wallet if they're not. But who knows? He may like it. It's great atmosphere. It's great music to kind of put on when you're trying to chill out. And the debut I like better than the second album. But then again, Loveless had a lot of time to grow on me before the album came out. So it's got that great anchor track on there at track 2. But I will throw Low Moon over to Eric. And you can look for his response, his connection to an album in his collection on Monday on the Plastic Sound Wave Cult. That's all I got. Said my piece. So I thank you for watching. And bye-bye.